Choo choo. You don't want to be every time, no. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, still listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? It is the Wyatt Williams, and today joining me will be the Wisconsinite himself at Man Hour _Tory. As you see it there, man, I'm glad it didn't go backwards. I was kind of worried that I was going to be in your head, you were going to be over here, but we worked it out. It looks great. And how's your day been today so far, sir?
It's the weekend. It can never be a bad day when I'm off of work.
Right.
Ever.
I can see you're at the golf course today, huh? You been nice, nice.
I'm about 14 under on the day.
Okay, those waves look a little still. That's the only thing I was kind of wondering. Are those like sit still wave? Like what's going on with that? They look like they're just kind of just hanging in there.
You know, it's just one of those things where it's an optical illusion. I'm in Hawaii,
right? Right. So we're gonna jump straight into some headlines today, right off the bat. Before I do that, though, I want to be sure to mention, please like and subscribe. We appreciate that greatly, as well as join our members only tab where you can get all kinds of behind the scenes access, like for $2.99, the fantasy football show that me and Tori do. Speaking of fantasy football, I had my draft today. Me and Tori were talking about that a little bit before. We'll talk about that a little later with you guys. And without further ado, we're going to jump right in, like I said, to some headlines. And first off, sadly, Not excited to talk about this one. You can see it here on the hat. The Cubs, the Cubs cleaned shop. Literally cleaned everything out. Like, I'm pretty sure they even got rid of the urinal cakes that were in the bathrooms in the clubhouse. I'm like 99.9% sure. And we all knew it was coming, but it actually hit. And Tori, I wanted your reaction to 6 players that hit the road yesterday. And it was a crazy trade deadline day as a whole. I mean, Scherzer hit the road for the Dodgers and added to an already stacked bullpen. So, I mean, it was a crazy day, first off, but we'll start with the Cubs. What did you think of the Cubs? Had a feeling you were going to say something like that.
Scrubbies.
Thought it was going to be something along the lines of ha 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 ha. Yes. I was expecting.
I mean, you're acting like it's the death of like baseball, and it's not. I mean, you still have Wilson Contreras. You still have Hendricks.
Yeah.
Hashtag silver linings.
Still got Hayward, I guess.
That's because nobody will take on that albatross.
Right. I know. That's all. That's what I'm saying. Though
untradeable.
We got basically 2 players that are worth what we're paying them, and production wise, it was wild. I mean, I know from watching all those guys, I mean, literally their first day away, first at bat for Anthony Rizzo, he sends one on a home run, pow, gone. Chris Bryant today, his first game for the Giants, what's he do? I think it was his second at bat, pow, out to left field, home run. Then Javi Baez in his first game with the Mets, he has a pickoff. It catches it at second base, rips one in to home, and gets the out at home, like on a crazy play. And I was just watching, and I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess that works. Like, it was just like, it's heartbreaking to see these guys. I know it's not for you, but it's heartbreaking to see these guys in other uniforms and playing as well as they are. Like, I mean, I wish them well, but at the same time, it's like, dang, first at bat, home run. Like, dang, second at bat, home run. And then we've got a crazy pickoff play at home. It's like, oh my Lord, it's nuts. Like, it was crazy. But some other people also hitting the road, some other big names. Max Scherzer, one of the top pitchers in the MLB, of course, being one of those guys who's going to go out to Dodger Town, I guess. What do we call it? Dodger Town, Dodger City?
Tinseltown?
Tinseltown, maybe, I don't know. But anyways, he's out going to join the Dodgers.
I mean, that situation was crazy.
Nuts.
The deal was all but done to send him to the Padres. All of a sudden, poof. Hold on. The Angels are in on this. Poof. The Dodgers are in on this. Okay, so all California, are we going to throw the A's in there and the Giants? Are we just going to throw all the California teams? Like, it was literally, so Wayne G and I were doing the show, and it started off, we talked about Scherzer potentially probably going to the Padres, and we both had said, we don't like to say stuff until they say it's done, because BC was like, oh, Scherzer's gone to the Padres. I'm like, they're saying close, and that's like I said, we went to break. We come back from break. It's like the Angels are now pursuing it and are close to a deal, and then it was the Dodgers, and then it was the Dodgers that ended up getting him. This is the one downside with Major League Baseball, and it's the one I have an issue with not having a hard cap. Yes, you have the luxury tax and all that good stuff, but teams that just don't care and just want to just throw money at players to get them to come play for them are still going to do it. And what markets does that leave you with? It leaves you with New York and Los Angeles.
Right. It clearly doesn't leave you with Chicago because we all know how that ended. But yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I just think it's crazy if Bauer does. If I know there's a lot of issues with that, so we have no clue when that all gets itself worked out. But let's say Bauer does get it worked out. He returns. They're gonna have Kershaw, Scherzer, and Bauer all in that rotation.
Bueller.
Ridiculous.
Bueller.
Right. Is there going to be a better pitching rotation in baseball?
No, because you basically got four number ones, and then you got Urias as your number 5.
Right. Crazy.
So,
I remember looking at seeing Scherzer going there, and I was like, oh Lord, like you said, the rich got richer in a sense. But in some other news, sticking with the Los Angeles theme, we're going to talk about Kawhi. And Kawhi will be hitting the free agent market as he declines his $36 million player option deal today. And Tori, we talked about this a little bit pre-show, and you mentioned that you think he is going to stay in LA. And of course, within the last couple of days, we've seen Dallas has pulled out of talks with him. They're no longer pursuing. That may change. We have no clue. That might have even been false. They might still be pursuing him at this moment, and nobody knows about it. The Heat have had a lot of interest. The Knicks have had a lot of interest. There's been a lot of teams around. So do you, and you said you think he's staying in LA. What is your reasoning behind that?
A lot of times you see stuff like this where they opt out of their deal in order to sign a longer-term deal. And that's literally the case. There's probably already a handshake deal in place with this that says, unless he really wants to Carlos Boozer them, then say, hey, if you release me, we'll work this new deal. Except that time, Carlos Boozer signed with the Utah Jazz 3 minutes after the Cavs let him go. So he can't. I don't think Kawhi would do that. Obviously, the hit to his reputation and his brand would take the biggest hit. He's from LA. He wants to be in that LA market. He likes being home. He is not going anywhere. I don't care. You could throw the Miami Heat out there. You could throw the Dallas Mavericks out. He's not going anywhere. I guarantee there's something already in place. He likes playing with PG, so I don't see him going anywhere. They have a team that can contend for a title next year, even against the Lakers.
See, I think that if he does stay, though, I think that they will – if he stays, I think that they bring in another superstar. I don't know who it is yet. I don't know if it's DeRozan. I'm not sure who it is because I know there's a lot of guys still on the market and still open to, going other places. Honestly, I am not sure who it would be at this moment. But if he does stay, I think they have to add another piece because, they every year it seems – it doesn't seem, it is. Every year they fall just short of doing, anything. They finally make it to the Western Conference Finals and they just lose it. They just wet the bed. And it's the old Clippers special in the playoffs. They've never been able to do anything in the playoffs. So we've already seen this, that, they can't compete with the Suns if Chris Paul chooses to stay, which we'll get into that in here in a minute. I don't think they can compete with the Lakers, especially now they brought in Russell Westbrook, which once again, we'll talk about that too later. And I don't think they can compete with Dallas coming up next year. I think Dallas is possibly going to bring in another person. So honestly, I don't know. I don't see why Kawhi would want to stay. I know he's from there and all that stuff, but if he could go to the East, where you've got Miami, who is seemingly one player away, and they need a power forward right now. They could put Bam at the center. They're bringing in Kyle Lowry at the moment on a sign and trade deal with Goran Dragic. They're going to bring him in. So next year, the lineup is going to look as if, let's say Kawhi does go there. Point guard would be Kyle Lowry. Shooting guard would be Victor Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, or Tyler Hero, one of those three. The small forward position would be covered by Jimmy, of course. Kawhi would jump into the power forward, and Bam would have the center. I think it's a perfect form of small ball. And it's really, even at that rate, not even too much of small ball, because Kawhi can play power forward very well. He can, space the floor like that. Bam Adebayo is a power forward and center. He can play both. So at that rate, you're still not even playing small ball. I mean, it is, but at the same time, it's not like what the Warriors had. So there's that. And then also you can look at the Knicks too. So I think there's a lot of interest elsewhere for him. But at the same time, you are 100% right that we see this all the time, where guys decline their options and they sign for more of a deal. Like, what? Basically saying, why would I want to sign somewhere for a year for, this much money when I could go sign, I want to be here for a while. So why don't I sign for 4 years for, 4 times the money, right? So that could also be what we're seeing. I wouldn't doubt that at all. But also, speaking of player options, we're going to jump into another name here that's been tossed around. Chris Paul declines his player option. This comes to a bit of a surprise to some people, because this is a guy that we kind of thought had finally found the forever home. We thought the Clippers were going to be that. He leaves. He goes to the Rockets. That clearly never did work out. Goes to the Thunder for a year. That never worked out. And finally he gets to Phoenix, where he's happy. He's playing extremely well. Goes to the finals, loses in 6 to the Bucks. We think this is the landing spot, and now he declines the player option. So what is your reaction to that, Tori?
Well, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about this very thing. I had said he's probably going to decline his option because they were talking that he could be in the market at 36 years old for a contract upwards of $100 million again. So he turned down a 1-year, $44.2 million contract to pick up his own option. He declined it. He's going to re-sign with the Heat, or with the Suns. So he will end up with probably, I'm going to say, I bet it's probably a 2-year, $80 million deal. It's going to be close to what he's making now, and it's just going to be a 2-year deal. So
a little more stability, kind of.
Right. So, I mean, who wouldn't turn down $40 million to make $80 million instead? You know?
Sure, that makes sense. It absolutely does.
So I don't see him going anywhere at this point. He likes it in Phoenix. They've got a really good thing going in Phoenix. DeAndre Ayton, the way he played in the playoffs,
he's coming out of his shell.
Is finally playing like the number 1 pick. The kid's developing.
Yeah. He's starting to look like Arizona DeAndre that we had seen, a couple of seasons ago. And I agree with you 100%. I think this is simply him. I think he's going to test the water.
Wayne G checks in and says 3 years, $106 million for Chris
Paul.
Sure.
I think that's definitely not out of the question.
I think it could happen.
Yeah, I think that he takes calls. I think he goes out, and I think he listens to everybody. But I still think ultimately that his home is in Phoenix, and I think that he stays with the Suns, just like what you said. And I think that he signs a 2-3, maybe. I don't want to extend this too far. A 4-year possibly deal. But of course, the money would go down after a while. They wouldn't give him, of course, $40 million a year over 4 years. That's not going to happen. But I could possibly see them signing him for the long term, for the 2 to even further extension. So, I think that raises a really interesting question there, as if both of those guys do stay where they are right now. So now jumping into some NFL talk. And this one is pretty interesting because it's a guy who's on a new team with an old coach that he essentially almost won an MVP with if he would have torn an ACL. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. That is Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz just got to Indianapolis, and I don't know what was his second day of practice there, second day of training camp. We find out that he has a foot injury now, and he's out indefinitely. So, I mean, is this guy the Derrick Rose of football? In my opinion, I think he's up there. He's of that status. A guy who had a good little flash in the pan stint, but injuries just killed it. Literally, let's
get it right. Let's get it right. He had one good year. One. He had.
Well, I mean, but he's been in the league 4 or 5. Every other year has been plagued with injuries. The guy has averaged like 3 injuries a year. 3 major injuries a year is what he's averaged for his time in Philly.
And he's not that good of a quarterback. I've said it from the get-go.
When he's healthy,
he's an overrated quarterback. He's an overrated quarterback. You can't say any quarterback. Cordell Stewart had one good year. Do you hear everybody talking about how great he is?
Well, no, because but I'm just saying that yes, he only had one good year. But injuries have caused this. Injuries have caused all this. When he's healthy and he is 100%, we've seen it. He's a great quarterback. I think so. I absolutely think he's an MVP conversational.
Look at his stats last year when the season started.
He was hurt all last year. He's been hurt every year.
He is an injury-prone version of Andy Dalton.
Oh, come on now. I don't know about that. I mean, he is absolutely injury-prone. I will 100% agree with you on that. I think right now might be the most injury-prone player in the NFL, maybe even of all time at this point. I mean, it's bad. The guy is always hurt. But
Carson Wentz better never want to come on the show because I'm going to get annihilated if he does.
Right. But no, I mean, it's just like it's sad for me to see. I hate to see it because now I think this was kind of Carson's last hoorah. I think now he kind of falls down to a backup. Well, honestly, it all depends on what Eason does. If Jacob Eason ends up turning out to be great, or even Sam Ehlinger. I said that at draft time, that Carson Wentz is super injury prone. That's the whole reason why they drafted Sam Ehlinger in the 4th round. Because if Carson gets hurt, they got Jacob Eason. That's it. They've got to bring somebody else in. So Sam Ehlinger, they brought him in. He's going to sit behind Jacob. Go ahead.
Jacob Eason is a better quarterback than Carson Wentz right now.
I don't know. I haven't seen him play.
I haven't either.
There's a chance.
And I'm saying Carson Wentz is so terrible that I'm saying Jacob Eason's a better quarterback.
Oh God, that's come on now. We haven't even seen him play in a single game. Jacob Eason has never hit the field yet, like for a starting game. So I don't know. But then Eason, of course, but also Sam Ehlinger. I said this at draft time, though. The reason why they got him was because you never know if Carson's going to get hurt. Sam Ehlinger is one of those guys. I'm telling you right now. I'm calling this now. I called it at draft time. I'm going to repeat it again now. Sam Ehlinger is one of those guys.
Is also trash.
Shut up. If he gets his shot and he makes well of it, he's one of those guys who the last time we'll ever hear Sam Ehlinger's name was on draft night, or he will become a household name. There will be no middle of the road average career. I think he has a great career as a guy who was a 4th rounder, Dak Prescott seemingly. He was a 3rd to 4th rounder, was a 3rd stringer coming in. 2 guys above him get hurt, or he outplays the second one above him gets hurt, and this guy ends up becoming a great NFL player. Or Jacob Eason takes off right here, goes crazy, has a great career in Indianapolis or wherever he ends up, whatever happens. And I think that's what Sam Ehlinger was brought in for. Do you think that there's a chance Sam Ehlinger becomes a great quarterback?
No, not a chance. You know why?
Not a chance at all?
Not a chance.
You've got no faith in Sam Ehlinger at all?
No. Did you watch him in college? He was an average quarterback at best at Texas.
What was Tom Brady? And I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady. I'm just saying there have been other guys who look like average quarterbacks and turned out to be great. I'm not comparing him to Tom Brady. Let me go ahead and say that first because he is not Tom Brady. But there have been other guys who looked average in college and ended up being great. That's not something we've not seen before.
That's a pretty broad and general term, though. But if you look at his skill set and everything else, if he was going, he would have shown flashes at Texas. This kid was one of the. He showed some flashes. He may have been the number. Was he the number one recruit for his class?
He was top 5. I'm not sure if he was number 1, but he was top 5.
He may have been the top quarterback though in that class.
I think he was.
And he didn't do anything. I've never seen. Great quarterbacks have intangibles. I've never seen the intangibles from this kid.
So you've got zero faith in Sam Ehlinger.
Yes. Give me Jacob Eason all day. Jacob Eason.
I kind of like Jacob Eason too, but I think Jacob Eason I think Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger are very similar in regards of they both were highly recruited guys coming in, and they just didn't, really pan out to what they should have been in college. I think both of them are very similar in that sense. Jacob Eason, oh my God, 10 years ago, he was in 9th grade when he first signed with Washington State. He decommitted and then committed to Washington, and he was supposed to be the savior of Washington. He was the savior for them, and that never panned out. And I think it was the same thing for Sam Ehlinger. I think they're essentially college story-wise, they're the same quarterback. They have very similar stories, but I do agree with you. I think right now, looking at it, Jacob Eason looks like he's the best quarterback in that room with Carson Wentz being hurt.
Until they make a trade, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, yeah. No, I'll tell you what, Tori. We'll talk about it right now. How about that? We won't make these people wait anymore.
No.
Why not?
No, because it's part of another segment.
Oh, my Lord. All right. We'll talk about it later. Tori's making you guys wait. We're building that suspense. But with that being said, we're going to head to a quick break. And when we return, we're not heading to a break yet. I got to find out Sam Ehlinger, what rank he was coming into his college years. Let's see. Do you know what?
Do you want me to ask my administrative assistant?
Ask your administrative assistant for me, please.
Alexa, what rank was Sam Ehlinger in his quarterback class?
He was okay. Here we go. Got it. He was a 4-star, so he wasn't even a 5-star. Dang, I didn't even know that. He was the number 4 dual threat, number 19 quarterback in Texas, and he was number 119 in the nation. Okay, he was actually not even. Wow. Okay, so he only had offers from Texas, Florida State, Houston, McNeese State, nice, and SMU. Okay, all right, well. But no, Jacob Eason is like kind of like that too. Jacob Eason didn't have many offers, but yeah, Jacob Eason was the guy who had he committed like his 9th grade or 8th grade year, something like that. He was super young when he committed to Washington State, and he broke all the Washington high school records and won 2 or 3 state titles or something. I watched a YouTube video on him one time about how great he was in college, and everybody said he was supposed to be this savior for Washington, and it just never panned out like it was supposed to be. And like I said, come to think about it, they're very similar. But with that being said, we are going to hop into our first break. We've brought some headlines to you. When we come back at 8:30 Eastern time, well, it'll be a little before that. But when we come back, we're going to have Guess Who. I'm going to have 5 players. Tori has 10 questions, 10 yes or no questions to ask. And after that, he will give his final answer. And that's how we do. That's how we do this game. So with that being said, without further ado, we're going to head to our first break of the night. We will be back in 2 minutes.
Hello there.
Mac, Wayne, here you go.
Wayne chimed in. Jacob Eason started his career at Georgia. In his one season at Washington, had fewer TDs and more picks than Ellinger.
Ooh, so Wayne G is Wayne G a Ellinger guy then?
I'm gonna guess. Maybe
That's what it
Actually,
sounds like. All right.
Wayne's a stats guy.
Wayne is a stats guy. There you go. He's a stats guy for Sam Ellinger. You heard it here. Tori said that Wayne is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about on Sam Ellinger and Jacob Eason. Tori said it. I heard him. So with that being said, we're going to jump into Guess Who, our fan favorite game. Like I said earlier, 10 yes or no questions, and then Tori he's a wince guy. Okay. All right. I like it.
Wait, we got to get you back on now because now we got to debate.
Yep, we got to do it. We will absolutely do it. Hey, maybe even do it tomorrow night, tonight. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So we got Guess Who. Tori gets 10 questions, 10 yes or no questions. And then at the very end of it, he gets a final guess. They have to be in the NBA, MLB, or NFL to be a player. They have to be a current player. And Tori, your first guess of the night. Go ahead, sir.
Do they play in the NFL?
They do not.
Do they play in the NBA?
No.
Do they play in the National League?
They do.
Do they play in the West?
They do.
Do they play for the Dodgers?
They do not.
Do they play for the Giants?
They do not. Is that 7 questions?
6.
6?
Do they play for the Padres?
They do play for the Padres.
Are they a pitcher?
Yes.
They a starting pitcher?
Yes.
Is it Yu Darvish?
It is Yu Darvish starting off the night 1-0. Tori takes the lead early. And yes, it is Yu Darvish, the former Cub, someone that wasn't a part of the fire sale, but he was a part of the offseason sale. So with that being said, we're going to jump into our second player here. And Tori, your first question is you lead the night 1-0.
Do they play football?
They do not.
Do they play basketball?
They do play basketball.
Do they play in the Western Conference?
They do not play in the Western Conference.
Do they play for the Heat?
Yes.
Are they a guard?
They are a guard.
Is it Goran Dragic?
It is not.
Is it Oladipo?
It is not. What is that?
7.
7?
Is it Duncan Robinson?
It is Duncan Robinson. Tori, 2-0 on the night starting it off. I thought I went a little hard with Duncan. I thought I was going to keep you away from that one.
I actually like Duncan.
I love Duncan. He is very exciting to watch. A great 3-point specialist for the Miami Heat, and he will have to be sharing some backcourt time with the incoming Kyle Lowry once they figure out that deal. So I'm going to have to win out to be able to win tonight. So if you get one more, you win, but we'll still finish out the segment. So with that being said, your next player, sir. Your next guest, my player.
Do they play football?
They do.
Do they play in the AFC?
They do not.
Do they play in the NFC East?
They do not play in the NFC East.
Oh, God. Thank God. I didn't know if I could take another player. You and Buck. Do they play in the NFC West?
They do play in the NFC West.
Do they play for the Niners?
They do not.
Do they play for the Cardinals?
They do.
Do they play a skill position?
Yes. What question's that?
7.
7? Okay.
Do they play receiver?
They do play receiver. Whoa.
Is it Hopkins?
It is not Hopkins.
Is it Christian Kirk?
Gosh dang it, man. It is Christian Kirk. So you take the win for the night. 3-0. God, I even went hard on these. What is it?
Christian Kirk isn't that hard. It was Christian Kirk or AJ Green. Unless you're going to try to throw it. If you'd have threw Andy Isabella in there, you'd have thrown me off.
Or Rondell Moore. I could have tossed that one in there too. Gosh,
Who's
okay.
that?
He's their rook they just brought in, man.
So sounds like some guy that went to some scrub school in Indiana.
He did. He went to New Albany. Yeah, you heard me right. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Anyways, we're gonna move on to our next player. And yeah, your first question, sir.
Are they a basketball player?
They are a basketball player.
Do they play in the Western Conference?
They do not play in the Western Conference.
It's another Eastern Conference. Do they play for the Celtics?
They do not.
Do they play for the Knicks?
They do not.
Wayne G. Jackson, Rondell Moore is from Purdue and is pure electricity.
He is. Went to New Albany High School, then transferred to Trinity High School in Louisville, and then went to Purdue. Purdue. No, I'm just kidding.
And West Lafayette.
West Lafayette. You ever been there, man?
Yes.
I've been there too. I went there a couple weeks ago.
I stopped there for gas.
You stopped there for gas?
On my way to Ohio.
Did you see Mackey?
No. Who's Mackey?
Their basketball gym?
No.
It's like one of the harder places to play in the nation. It's famous for it's like a circular shape. It's pretty cool looking, actually. You should definitely go check it out if you've never seen it before. But your next question, sir. You're at 6, right? 7?
4.
6, 7?
4.
22. I got to get a win at some point tonight, Tori. Come on now. I'm going to start reducing your questions to 8. You always guess it in 8.
Do they play for the Hawks?
They do not play for the Hawks.
The Nets?
They do not play for the Nets.
The Sixers?
They do not play for the Sixers. Oh, my Lord. I might get this one.
You might.
Oh, God. I spoke too early. That's there it is. You're going to get it now.
Is it? I'm just kidding. Who the heck else would it possibly be? Do they play for the Bulls?
They do not play for the Bulls.
Do they play for the Magic?
Nope.
The heck? Do they play for my Bucks?
They do not play for your Bucks. Is that 9 or
All
is
right.
that 10?
No, that was 10.
All right.
Now
Final
I have a
guess.
final guess. Jesus. I guessed almost every team in the freaking Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Jesus. I got to think who it would be.
If you get this, I am logging off the show and quitting forever. Like
Last time you said that, I did.
I know you did last time because you had it down to 3 players. This time you don't have it down to 3 players. This time you have it down to what, 6 teams?
Yeah.
If you guess this, we are never going to be friends again, Tori.
So it's Cade Cunningham.
It is not Cade Cunningham, and I will take my first win for the night. It is Montrezl Harrell, who just got sent to the Washington Wizards from the LA Lakers in exchange for Russell Westbrook, and he, of course, went with Kyle Kuzma and some other players. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope in that deal as well, but Montrezl Harrell, the Louisville Cardinal, a part of that deal as well. So there you go. I get my first point of the night, and let's see if I can get this final one here. Our final player of the night, and your first question, sir.
Are they a baseball player?
They are not.
So they're a football player?
They are.
Do they play in the AFC?
They do.
Do they play running back?
No.
Do they play in the AFC East?
They do not play in the AFC East.
Do they play in the West?
They do play in the AFC West.
Is it Marcus Mariota?
It is not Marcus Mariota.
Do they play for the Chargers?
They do not play for the Chargers.
Do they play for
I got you on this one, I think.
the Broncos?
They do not play for the Broncos.
So they play for Kansas City or the Raiders. Do they play for the Raiders?
No.
So it's Kansas City. And this is my final guess right off the get here.
This is your final guess, and you got to guess a player. Yeah, 53 players you got to guess from here. Well, you can count off the running back because you already asked who was a running back.
Yep.
So it's not any of the running backs.
I figured for sure it was going to be something stupid like Mariota.
Not quite.
I just literally give up on this one. I'm just literally going to toss a name out there. Just because I like his name. Is it Byron Pringle?
It is not Byron Pringle. You can Pringle that on out of here, boy. It is a very special person named Mecole Hardman, wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'll tell you what, you got the 3 off the bat. I got the 2. I'll take my 3-2 loss for the night. I'll take.
Yeah,
I'll take it with
quit
pride.
playing after I had the W.
Right.
I just
that's
wanted to
exactly
prevent defense.
Right, exactly. You gave me. I'll take my little dump off yardage and my stats and walk. I'll just get a new contract or something. But it's cool. It's cool. But with that being said, we are going to jump into our next break. When we return, we have got Way or No Way, led by Tori. After that, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff coming up. We got Marcus Mariota, Russell Westbrook, Aaron Rodgers, Browns, with Nick Chubb. There is all kinds of stuff coming up, so be sure to stay tuned for that, as well as 9:45, the very famous and loved by the fans Shop Talk, where we get to interact with you. We'll answer all your sports-related questions when we get to that moment, so be sure to save all those for 9:45 Eastern Time, 8:45 Central, and we will see you when we get back in 2 minutes here on Man Hour. And welcome back to Man Hour as we're going to jump right into Way or No Way, led by Tori tonight. If I will ever get to the graphic, almost there. And there you go. You see it. Way or No Way. And Tori, sir, you're leading it for us tonight. So go ahead, your first Way or No Way.
This is to appease the one, the only, the BC, mostly so I can make fun of him. Javi, KB, or Rizzo rejoined the Cubs in the offseason.
I would say, God, that's so tough because I want all of them back. I would say for the success of the team in the future, I think Javi. I think he is a more valuable asset to the team. But
Wait. This is Way or No Way, not. You can pick one, you can pick all three, but it's Way or No Way.
I thought I said to pick one of them to come. Okay.
No.
Are they coming back?
So it's Way or No Way.
Okay.
Javi, KB, or Rizzo rejoin the Cubs in the offseason. Do you not know what game we're playing?
I can't read, so but anyways, yes, I've seen all the rumors about them coming back after the end of the season, especially Chris Bryant and mostly Javi Baez. I don't know. That's tough to bring all three back. No way. I don't think so.
No, it doesn't have to be all three. It can be any one of them.
Oh, any one of them?
Up to all three of them.
Sure. I think one will come back. I'm not sure which one. If I had to bet, it would probably be Javier or Javi Baez. If I had to choose, I think after that would probably be Chris Bryant, and then I think Rizzo does come back, but I think it's in the future. I think it's a couple of years down the road. Like I think he's like one of those guys who signs a one-day contract to retire with the Cubs or something. So yes, Way, all three. No way. I don't think all three come back, but I'm sure one will probably find their way back. Sure.
I'm going no way that not one of them comes back in the offseason.
You don't think so? Not one?
Javi expressed a ton of interest in playing with Francisco Lindor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's true.
So Wayne G picking on you here a little bit. Somebody leaves the instructions in the box when assembling.
Right. That's what I said. That was my bet on that one. Yes, I think at least one of them could come back. Sure.
So Javi expressed before he was traded that he would love to play with Francisco Lindor and be that double play combo. I think he re-ups with the New York Mets because the New York Mets are retooling right now, and they are going to, well, they're obviously leading their division. That division is still pretty close. However, I think Javi ends up now putting them over the top just because of his bat and his glove. I think that division is going to pretty much be over. The Nats kind of sold, so they kind of give. Nats were only 6.5 games out, and they basically gave up on the season.
Right. I was very surprised
because they had actually said that everybody on the roster was available, not named Juan Soto.
Yeah, even Schwarber left too.
Right. Yeah. Well, Schwarber got traded to Boston. KB, I don't think returns to Chicago because at this point he's like, screw you, because of that whole they didn't bring him up until after whatever, so get the extra year of service out of him. They basically, and every team does it. They delay it so they can, get that extra year before that player goes to free agency. I think at this point, my bold prediction right now, Chris Bryant moves to the outfield and signs with the St. Louis Cardinals to stick it to the Chicago Cubs.
I don't know about all that, but that's a stretch. But that would actually suck pretty bad.
And Rizzo's going to have
John Lester. Yeah, I saw Lester went there. That was heartbreaking too. When I saw Lester was going to go there, I was like, dang.
That's what I said. It's my bold prediction for the offseason.
Bold prediction
is that Chris Bryant signs with the St. Louis Cardinals to stick it to the Chicago Cubs. And Rizzo's going to have so much money thrown at him by I don't know how many different teams. he's going to sign with one of them.
Well, and here's still like Rizzo's a great player. I don't want to take anything away from him. I think Baez and Bryant are both better overall baseball players than him, but Rizzo is such a great leader and adds such a great face to your locker room that he is so desired by, or will be so desired by so many teams. I don't think, of course, it'll have to do with the fact that he's a great baseball player, but I think that a good portion of it will have to do with him in the locker room, with how much he boosts the, everything in the locker room. He's a great person. He's a great leader. He's a funny guy. He makes everybody laugh, have a good time. He makes, it's just Rizzo. So I think that's a big part of it too. Why he'll have so many teams after him is for the leadership role that he can play.
My bold prediction: Anthony Rizzo joins the Milwaukee Brewers to stick it to the Chicago Cubs.
So is Javi okay? So if Javi Baez doesn't re-sign with the Mets, what is he just going to go to like the Pirates or the Reds? Maybe just another Central team to stick it to the Cubs.
He's going to go to the Pirates just to stick it to the Cubs.
Okay, all right. I was just checking.
Every other free agent's going to sign with the Reds just to stick it to the Cubs.
Well, just as long as the Reds win it and Torrey gets I don't care what happens. So
they're still seven. They are still 7 games back.
Dude, if they come back and win this, I am so excited if they do that. That is, I am gonna go crazy if they do that. That is gonna be hilarious.
The Cincinnati Reds are a pretend good team.
Oh my God, Lord, I hope they figure it out.
They will not. So, not in number 2 now. Randall Cobb will be an integral part of the Packers offense in 2021.
God, you're really gonna make me call out my boy, aren't you? Okay, all right. Yeah, I got to do this. No, I don't think so. I think Randall Cobb is going to be a part of the offense. I don't think he'll be the integral part. Randall's older now. Randall is not what he was, 5 years ago. And that just comes with time. That comes with playing football for as long as he has. That just comes with it. Randall Cunningham. Oh my God, you almost did it too. Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is back on the Packers for making Aaron Rodgers happy. For adding another face. Now, sure, he's still a good weapon, still a good football player, and he'll catch some balls this year. I don't doubt that. And he might even be a returner for us. Not sure if him or Irvin. I'm sure Irvin will probably take over still, but we don't know yet.
I don't think they re-signed Tyler Irvin.
Oh, they didn't bring Irvin back? Okay, well maybe that's why they brought him in. Maybe Cobb's here for a returner of some kind. So I think I could see him on the returning end. I could see him catching some balls, but an integral part of the offense, no. I think there's too many wide receiver weapons, too many weapons to catch the ball. I mean, even the running back is a pass-catching running back for the Packers. Aaron Jones, he's a pass-catching running back. Tight end, Robert Tonyan made huge strides last year from what he has, and of course on top of that you've got Devontae Adams who's going to be taking up reps. Then you've got Alan Lazard and Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Quantum St. Brown's going to be taking up Amari Rodgers. I mean, there's a lot of weapons right now on the Packers, I think, to take up.
So are you saying Devin Funchess doesn't make the team?
No, I don't know.
You heard it here first. Wyatt just said Devin Funchess is getting cut. That's okay because I'm in the same boat. I said early in the year he's getting cut.
Him taking off for COVID was pretty bad for his career. Now, like, I'm not saying it's a bad decision because that's I'm not taking any political stance when I say that whatsoever. But I think him taking off due to COVID killed his career because he was already in kind of a shallowy situation, needed to do something cool, and I think that just kind of dudded it out.
Yeah, I am not going to buy either that Randall Cobb he is literally there to basically be a player wide receiver coach. That's all he's there. The fact is that Amari Rodgers' dad was Randall Cobb's wide receiver coach at Kentucky. So Amari Rodgers has been around Randall Cobb since Randall Cobb's been in college.
Since Randall Cobb was a quarterback, literally.
So, and he always referred to Randall Cobb as his big brother. And he even said so when he got traded back. He's like, it's really nice to have my big brother back.
Right.
And so, yeah.
I saw all the pictures of them together and stuff. I thought that was cool.
So he is literally there only to help mentor the receivers. And that is the one thing that I will say the Packers have lacked the last few years. They had a lot of years where they had basically a rotation of wide receivers that would teach the new guys coming in the ropes. And then all of a sudden everybody was gone, and then it was just Devontae by himself trying to teach the new guys the ropes. And it kind of changed the dynamic of that wide receiver locker room. And I think that's what they've kind of brought Cobb back. 1, to appease Aaron. 2, to get that stability back in that wide receiver room, to show that there are leaders in that room and that these guys need to step up. I will say that is going to be tough cuts in that wide receiver room. There's going to be good receivers that get cut from the Green Bay Packers this year. I really
think.
I think Funches, obviously. Funches is
Funches,
gone.
sure. Yeah.
And I don't know. I really want EQ. I am a huge EQ fan. I love Equinemius St. Brown. I think.
See, I like him too, but at the same time,
and I think he's going to get cut, and I hope not. He is the one guy I pull for, that he gets healthy, and he's a big receiver. He's big target.
He's a big dude.
So
absolutely,
I honestly think he could be a better receiver than Lazard. But
I mean,
he needs to stay healthy.
I hope so, because Lazard's good is a good option. I don't want to say great, because I might Combs might come out of the grave and come over here and kill me or something. He might just rise from the side of my bed.
I think Combs has got other things to worry about tonight.
Yeah, like the Cubs.
No, because did you see his one little boy? He's like, of all my kids, I never thought he would be the one to break a bone.
Oh yeah. Okay, I thought you were talking about the Cubs. I was like, no, I know. I thought, never mind. Yes, I'm asleep at the wheel tonight, man. I don't know what's going on.
Ryan, here's to a speedy recovery, buddy. We hope you get well soon there.
Yes, sir. Praying for you, big guy.
So yeah, I think Cobb is literally there just to basically be an on-field wide receiver coach.
I can see that.
So, all right. So now we'll go back to what we were talking about earlier about potentially a trade. Could this be a Philly 2018 and Indy in 2021? Could Nick Foles get traded to Indy as an insurance policy against Wentz? It's already been being floated. And there again, Frank Reich was his offensive coordinator, and he flourished under him.
So, Nick Foles and him did win a Super Bowl together. Could that happen? Yes, Way. I think that could happen. Absolutely. I think, there's a lot of rumors speculating. What's up, Drew? There's a lot of rumors speculating with some other quarterbacks, which we will discuss later on. But I definitely think that Nick Foles going to Indy is definitely not out of the picture, because not just does he fit with Frank Reich's system, they won a Super Bowl together, not just does that work, but at the same time, he could be there as a mentor for the younger guys. You've got Jacob Eason there. You've got Sam Ehlinger, we talked about earlier, both of those guys there. I think he could be a mentor piece for that, to help out in that situation. I don't think that he comes there and starts, no. But do I think he could come there for depth and for helping out? Absolutely, because he's not doing anything in Chicago. I mean, what else? Like, what else is he doing? I mean, that clearly the argument right now in Chicago is Justin Fields and Andy Dalton. I haven't heard one time this whole offseason, oh, Nick Foles is going to be starting week 1. No, nobody said that. Like, the entire summer, it's been between the entire summer it's been between Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. So he's not doing anything in Chicago. If he wants to go somewhere where he'll get a shot to maybe start, sure, I think Indy would be a nice little landing spot for him.
So I didn't get to this one either. So on the Cobb situation, Wayne G chimes in. No way. Adams, Aaron Jones, Valdez-Scantling, Tunyon, Lazard. Who is he taking targets from?
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, there's only so many balls to go around, and at this point in Cobb's career, he's not that focal point. He also proved that when he was the focal point, he couldn't be that great of a receiver when Jordy went down and he had to be the number one. Couldn't separate from anybody. All right. So number 4, Cade Cunningham will win the NBA Rookie of the Year this season.
That's tough. There's a lot of options on that one.
This
There's a
was
lot
a
of guys.
talent-laden draft.
It was, but I will say there was a lot of guys who fell to a team that like best suits them. I think he has the most opportunities to start over everyone else. Wayne G says Jalen Suggs. Jalen Suggs is definitely going to get an opportunity to be in that spot. I don't know though. I think as of right now, Cade Cunningham is the for sure clear-cut starting point guard for the Detroit Pistons.
That's not. I asked, will he be Rookie of the Year?
So yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But like, he's the clear-cut point guard. He's going to be starting come day one. So I think so. I think as of right now, yes, he is my rookie. He will be the Rookie of the Year. Yes, way.
I'm going no way on this one. Give me the field. There's just I'm going to go with one of the Jalen's. I'm going to go with Jalen Green and Jalen Suggs.
What about Kuminga?
And Kuminga's walking into a great situation. So it could very well be he. Like, honestly, like, I made that question. I'm like, the more I looked at it, I'm like, God, give me the field versus that one.
Right. That makes sense. But I think of so many of the guys, I don't know, I mean, and there are some guys where they landed that we know they're going to be starting, but like, we know 110% Cade Cunningham is going to be the starting point guard. Good Lord willing, the creek don't rise. Just as long as he's not, hurt, he's going to be the starting point guard.
You don't think Evan Mobley's going to be the starting center in Houston? Who else did they got besides Christian Wood? That's actually starting to look like a pretty powerful front court right there with Christian Wood and Evan Mobley. If they can teach Evan Mobley his offensive game, defensively, he's going to be phenomenal. I'm more worried about his offense because I don't think he can get too far away from the rim.
Yeah. No, and I'm not saying that Mobley won't be starting. I'm just saying that as of right now, I think he is the most guaranteed player to start because there's nobody else in Detroit to start at point guard over him. There's genuinely nobody else.
Let's just get this straight. There's nobody in Detroit, period, besides him.
Like, there's nobody else. So I think that's why I would say...
Unless you count Thon Maker.
Sure. But yeah, no way.
All right. So this one's going to be a little bit controversial. This is the last wave or no wave for the night.
Oh, God, here we go.
I apologize to everyone. This one's going to be a little off the weeds. It's going to be controversial. I guarantee it.
It's the terrible P word, political.
Kind of.
You thought I was going to say something else, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, you did. You got a dirty
way
mind.
Or no way. New York style pizza is better than Chicago deep dish.
Oh God, you are really asking for it here. Oh man, best pizza, New York or Chicago? That is so tough.
No, I didn't say New York. I said Chicago deep dish or New York style pizza is better than Chicago deep dish.
Yeah, no, but it's essentially picking which one's better. I really like Chicago deep. I mean, it's really good. It's like upside down pizza, pretty much. It's really good. But at the same time, the New York style, where the pizza slices are like bigger than your head, are like delicious too. And I've had both in New York and Chicago. So like I've had the authentic kind too. Man. Give me deep dish. Give me Chicago deep dish. I'm sorry to all the New Yorkers out there.
Go no way on this one then?
I'm going no way. Give me the Chicago deep dish pizza. I'm sorry.
Wayne G comes in and says, "Way deep dish is gross," and I'm going to agree 110% with Wayne G on that. Deep dish pizza is awful. It is basically lasagna pizza, and I don't like the taste of tomato. So
you don't like any pizza. All pizza's tomato based.
Not all. I order pizza. If I get pizza from Pizza Hut, I don't get marinara. I get the creamy garlic Alfredo sauce instead.
I like getting all meat pizzas with barbecue sauce from Papa John's and stuff. That's good. That right there is good stuff. But I'll take deep dish.
No, give me that big New York slice of pizza as big as my head. I can fold in half and just
right.
that is the best to me. That's the best pizza. I am not a deep dish fan, and what I say like with the where I don't like tomato is because a lot of times the deep dish pizza has chunks of tomato in it, and I really do not like tomato at all. Like I like sauces, but I do not like the taste or the texture of actual tomato chunks.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was our way or no way segment of the night. We are going to head to break. When we return, we've got some really good stuff coming up for you. Marcus Mariota, we're going to talk a little bit about that guy, which we have some in this show. Russell Westbrook, we've got Aaron Rodgers, the Browns, all kinds of great stuff coming up here on Man Hour when we return in 2 minutes.
ManHourRadio.com.
And welcome back to Man Hour. And Tori, this is something that's near and dear to our heart, fantasy football. You know, we host our fantasy football segment, which
I thought you were going to say food.
Oh, well, that too, but you know, I don't know, which do you love more, food or fantasy football?
Food, because I'm fat.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I don't think I can, and I don't think there's anything better than food. No, it's delicious. But anyways, take a second and explain to everyone here about our fantasy football segment.
So every single week, if you are a $2.99 or higher member, you have complete access to winning your fantasy football league. And what I mean by that, you get my advice, you get Wyatt's advice. Wyatt's amazing at finishing second place. I'm amazing at winning my league. So we are offering free fantasy advice if you are a $2.99 or more member every single week. You know, we brought late round sleepers. We've brought and Wayne just threw me completely off my game. So, you know, we are bringing you every week. We are bringing you something different, and you know, whatever we decide, that's what we're going to do. So, Wyatt, what do you think this week should be about?
This week, I'll tell you what, Tori, I just did my draft earlier today, and which we'll talk about that in just a second. My team, we'll dive deep into that. So you know what? We're going to talk about, I don't know, what should we talk about? We've talked about late round guys, and we've talked about the flex options that can win you your league. So I say this time we go with...
I'm thinking tight ends.
Sure. Let's do top 5 tight ends. There you go.
I think so. We're going to do our top 5 tight ends in the league. Actually, let's go top 10. One of us will take 10. 6 through 10. The other one will take 1 through 5. Because the one thing that is unique right now is, man, when I first started playing fantasy football, there was like 2 good tight ends in the league. Like it was 2 good ones, and if you didn't get one of them, good luck.
There's one now. Fantasy. Travis Kelce. Everybody else doesn't even get close. Just kidding. Go ahead.
I mean, no, but like the teams utilize the tight end as a receiver way more than they used to. So it's actually kind of nice. Like, I remember like when Ben Watson came into the league, he was like, I'm trying to think of a tight end that he was the guy that like every year would just be kind of steady to be like, oh, this guy's gonna be a superstar next year, and he would just continue to be steady like every single year. Not great, not horrible, but steady and a great veteran presence like every year.
Absolutely. But yeah, we'll talk about our top 10 tight ends. I love that. That's a great idea. But I'm gonna talk about my draft, man. I gotta talk with you about my team, what I landed with, all this stuff. And starting off, we'll start with the quarterback position. Okay. So my quarterbacks on my team, Russell Wilson. So I've got my first half of the year covered with MVP caliber talent, a guy that's going to give me, 30 points a week for the first 8 weeks. Then when he falls off, backing him up, I've got Justin Herbert, a promising young player who had a great rookie year that all happened because of Tyrod Taylor's punctured lung. So that's my quarterback situation. Okay. My running backs are a little more interesting. So I had the second overall pick. So with that second overall pick, I got Dalvin Cook. I sat there for the full minute 45, minute 30, whatever it was, and stared at Cook and Kamara. I sat there and stared at it. Like, man, I don't know what to do. I'm caught in the middle on this one. And Tori, I know you're not agreeing with me. And I went with Cook. I went with Cook because Cook had an incredible year last year. I had him on my team last year. If I wouldn't have had him on my team last year, I would have went with Kamara automatically. But I had him on my team last year, and he did incredible things. Literally, I'll read you his numbers before the show. I'll read everybody the numbers from last year real quick. He had no weeks. He had not a single week where he had less than 10 points. He had week 1, 21, next week 17, after that 25, then 28, then 19. Then he was out for week 6 against Atlanta. Then he had a bye week, and as soon as he came back, week 8 at Green Bay, he had 48 points. Detroit, 39. Chicago, 15. Dallas, 25. Carolina, 10. Jacksonville, 23. Tampa Bay, 19. Chicago, 26. And then New Orleans, 16. And he did miss week 17, but that was because his dad passed. There was no injury or anything. But his dad did pass away, so he missed the final week of the season. And so that's why I went with him. He had a great year last year. I was really happy with what he put out last year. And the biggest reason why I went away with Kamara, and it is because the quarterback situation there. There is too many questions, in my opinion, surrounding it. Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill. Kamara might end up at quarterback for the Saints. We don't know at this point. I could end up there. Who knows? Sean Payton might just walk out there and play quarterback. So I ended up with Dalvin Cook with my first pick at the second overall pick over Kamara and over Derrick Henry. I thought about Derrick Henry for a little bit too, but Derrick Henry is highly valuable in non-PPR leagues, and this is a PPR league, so I figured that it makes him a little less valuable compared to some other backs. So I went with Dalvin on that one. And my other running backs, Antonio Gibson, as well as Miles Sanders, DeAndre Swift, and Najee Harris. Oh, and last one, Darrell Henderson. So I was pretty happy with my running back situation.
I like that Henderson pick. That's going to be a great value pick for you.
I'll tell you, I got him at the let's see here, 59th overall. Got him pretty late in the draft. So I was happy with that. He was the last running back that I selected. So running back core feels really good. Every running back that I got is in a system all by themselves. Henderson is all by himself now that Akers is hurt. Najee Harris is pretty much all by himself. There's a little bit of Snell, but I don't know. Snell, that's a weird situation with Snell, but it's a PPR league, so he'll be taking up a lot of receptions as well. He's already been deemed the starter for them. DeAndre Swift in Detroit. Miles Sanders, really the only functioning piece of the Eagles offense when he's healthy. Then Antonio Gibson all by himself in Washington, and of course Cook all by himself in Minnesota. So I felt pretty good about the running back situation. After that, at wide receiver, I got a steal. Okay, I've got Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs at wide receiver. That is my receivers, the 2 and 3 from last year. Coming off the bench for wide receiver, Scary Terry McLaurin and Kenny Golladay, who I got super late in the draft. I felt good about getting Kenny Golladay. He's very injury prone, but he's going to be in a good offense where he'll be the number one target if he can stay healthy. And like I said, I got him super late in the draft. I got him 62nd. So I got him way late. He was like my third to last pick, something like that. So after that, we've got tight end Mark Andrews, and I got him 50th. I got him 50th in the draft. Mark Andrews, a top 5 tight end in the league. So I was really happy with that pick. My backup tight end is Dallas Goedert, a guy who we mentioned on our fantasy show as a sleeper in fantasy this year. So I got Dallas Goedert as well. And then at the defensive position, I've got the Colts defense. Felt pretty good about that one. Nice, solid all-around defense. And then at kicker, I've got the number 1 overall kicker from last year, Jason Sanders. So I felt pretty solid with this draft. I mean, like I said, other than that first overall pick, I mean, I think every other pick was, the exact right pick. And I still feel like the first overall pick was the right pick. I went with my gut on that one. But at the same time, him and Kamara
and that's why you finished in second place. Because you're going with your gut and you're going with nostalgia versus what the stats say. So, Dalvin Cook, his first year in the league, 4 games. Second year in the league, 11 games. Third year in the league, 14 games. Last year, 14 games. He has yet to play a full season yet. And that is why you should have taken Kamara at number 2 overall. His stats the last 2 years are great. Except you want somebody that's durable, and he's not a durable back.
Well, he didn't get hurt last year. He had an issue with family. He had a family issue, is why he wasn't there for all 16.
For one game.
There was family issues with the week 6 too. That one they never said, I'm pretty sure, right? I was like 99.9% sure I remember that. He missed week 6 last year because of something with family issues. He didn't say what it was.
Because it was him, I think him and whoever the backup was were both hurt in that game. Because
Madison came in for that game. I remember that. And Madison had 6 points, something like that. Alexander Madison, their backup running back there. But yeah, he actually did play last year healthy. So he just had some family issues, and then his dad passed away for that last game, which was tragic and horrible.
As I said before, he had one healthy season. And you're like, and he was on my team last year. That is the worst way to draft in fantasy football ever. Be like, well, I had him last year.
He played great last year. He did. I felt like there was too many questions. But even how about this? Even with him missing 2 games last year, he still finished last year as the number 2 running back in fantasy. And then Alvin Kamara finished as the Alvin Kamara finished number 1.
and Alvin Kamara played on one leg for like 6 games last year.
He did. All right, you might have me there, but you know what? I feel pretty confident about everything else. You gotta like the receivers.
So whoever had the number 3 pick was like, thank God Wyatt's a moron.
No, I don't even think. I think Kamara went 4th. I think Derrick Henry went after that.
Okay, so the guy that drafted number 3 then is a bigger moron.
Let's see here. Alvin Kamara went 3rd.
Okay.
He did go 3rd.
Yeah, because it probably took him all of 2 seconds to be like, Wyatt passed that. Okay.
I feel confident with Cook. I'll give it that. I do. I feel confident with Cook. He's gonna have a good year this year.
You went with the nostalgic pick. You're picking with your heart rather than your head.
Well, but it was kind of both. But at the same time, like I've got a good depth behind him in case if something were to happen. Gibson can be an RB1. I've got him at my 2. Sanders can step up and be an RB2, I'm sure. I've got Najee Harris, who if he pops off, he's basically like Kamara. Najee Harris is a bigger Alvin Kamara if he pops off. I guarantee it.
And what has been what has been the MO of Alabama running backs in this league? And
I
we've
know
talked
what
about
it's
it
been.
several times.
I know, but that was the best. I got Najee. Najee Harris was projected to go 23rd overall or 22nd. I got him at 35. So I got him later too. I got him a whole round later than what he was projected to go. So I felt like it was a steal at that point. And I got DeAndre Swift. Swift was projected a top 15 running back. No, top 10 running back. And I got him at 26.
I do like that pick as well, especially in a PPR league.
I got him late, and also
the only other thing is
Henderson.
You handcuffed none of your running backs.
What do you mean?
So you did not take into account if Dalvin Cook gets hurt, who's his backup? You should always try to handcuff one of your starters. Always.
I don't need a handcuff. I've already got Najee. I've got DeAndre and Henderson that could all take that spot. I don't need a handcuff for him.
Okay.
And if I do, Matt, I can get Alexander Madison off the waivers. I can do that. I'm sure.
Again, folks, this is how you lose titles by playing like Wyatt.
This is how you come in second, I guess.
This is how you come in second.
So you're not happy with the running back situation. Okay, what do you think about wide receiver though? You got to like that Tyreek Hill and Stephon Diggs.
Diggs, I thought you said you had. I don't know. You did say Diggs, yeah, 100%. Yeah, you can't argue that. I mean, last year I had Devontae and Stephon Diggs as my top two receivers last year.
That's pretty crazy.
Which was great because my running backs were trash. Like I said, I started Chase Edmonds and Kenyon Drake most of the year because they would split 50-50 every game. Like you literally didn't know which one was going to have a better game.
Yeah.
But I was playing in a 12-team league where running backs at that point were scarce. And, when you're picking with the last pick in the first round or near the back half of the first round every year, you don't get that kind of talent. Because we base it off of your finish from the previous year.
Let's see here. So I'm looking at trying to find the rankings or whatever. Can't find it. Okay, so grade. You got to grade my draft here. So I've got Russell Wilson, Dalvin Cook, Gibson, Hill, Diggs, Andrews, Sanders, Colts defense, Sanders at kicker. I've got DeAndre Swift, Najee Harris, Terry McLaurin, Darrell Henderson, Kenny Galladay, Justin Herbert, and Dallas Goedert is my backup tight end. What's your grade? I give it a solid
B.
A.
I give it a B.
Okay, I'll take a B. I'll give it an A because it's my team.
The reason that you get it, one, I think that you should have took Kamara over Cook, and two, you took chances on a lot of guys with injury histories.
Yeah, let's see here. Cook, injury history. I did got Sanders. Sanders got some injury history. Henderson's got a little bit in Galladay. Galladay, yeah.
So that's the only reason. Because you could end up a creek without a paddle if it doesn't bounce your way. Just remember, because the more guys you draft and you took a lot of flyers. Like I said, you took flyers on guys that have injury histories, banking that they're going to boom or bust. Guess what? Some of them may boom, but it's guaranteed some are going to bust.
Yeah, it's true. And then now I don't remember what I was going to say, but yeah. I feel pretty.
Thank you, Tori. You are smart. You know it all.
I feel decently confident. You know what? If Dalvin Cook ends up being the number one fantasy running back this year, I'm gonna rub it in your face so hard at that point.
And when he gets hurt, they're like Dalvin Cook's out for 4 weeks, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, Wyatt, remember when I told you?"
Yeah. All right. Well,
and just remember, Kamara played on one leg for 6 weeks and carried that team through when Drew Brees was hurt.
Taysom Hill carried. No, I'm just kidding. Taysom Hill didn't carry the team. I'm just kidding. But no, I see where you're coming from. I can see that. But I also see where I'm coming from because it's me, of course. But anyways, we're gonna head to our next break. And when we come back, we've got some more headlines. Marcus Mariota, all kinds of great stuff coming up when we come back in 2 minutes.
Hey there, Mr. White T-shirt wearer dude.
Mr. White shirt wearer dude.
Do you wear the same shirt every day?
Same shirt every day.
Do you do the same thing every day?
The same thing every day.
Don't you worry, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Now with Man Hour merch, you can spice up your style each and every day. From hats to beanies to shirts, we got you covered, Mr. White shirt wearer dude. Shop at manhourradio.com. T-shirts start at $15. Shop today.
Why, thank you, manhourradio.com, for this awesome merch. Hats, t-shirts, $15. You can't go wrong.
Pretty obvious in that one. Dak's coming back off. You got Tom Brady and did I mention 22 starters coming back?
When I say Lamar Jackson is trash, I'm not saying he is the worst quarterback in the league, but he is definitely not the best quarterback in the league. When you say somebody is trash, it is based off the perception of the general public.
And welcome back to Man Hour. As we're going to jump into some headlines, I do want to remind everybody that in 20 short minutes at 9:45 Eastern Time, we will be heading to Shop Talk, which is where our section where we can interact with you, the fans. Save all your sports-related questions for then, and we will hit every single one that we can get to before we end the show. But without further ado, we talked about it a lot, hinted on it a lot, but we're actually going to dive deep into this topic now, and that is the Colts quarterback situation, which we have already talked about a little bit, but Marcus Mariota, a potential favorite to head to Indianapolis along with Nick Foles. But Marcus Mariota, potential to go there. And the reasoning why is because Derek Carr kind of, has never said that he wants him out of town, but you can see that it, in a way, has bothered him a little bit that he's been brought in. So, Tori, do you think that Marcus Mariota exits the LV?
I do not think that they trade Marcus Mariota at the Indianapolis Colts. One, Mike Mayock is in love with Marcus Mariota. He loved him as a draft pick and everything else. As soon as he got a chance to get a hold of Marcus Mariota, he did. He is not married to Derek Carr at all. Derek Carr is a good quarterback. If it was up to Mayock, he would probably trade Derek Carr before he would trade Marcus Mariota. And that's the only reason I say he is not going to end up on the Colts, because he is a Mayock guy. Mayock likes him, and he wants to keep him. However, on the flip side of that, Mariota was slated to make $10.5 million this year. And the organization said to him, either take a pay cut or we're going to cut you. And he took the pay cut to $3.5 million.
Wow.
So if that was my guy, I'm okay with paying him $10.5 million. However, he did accept it and stayed around for $3.5 million. So one, it makes him easily tradable as well, but it also kind of signals that he wants to be in Las Vegas as well.
Right. Kind of shows that he wants to be there as well. There's genuine interest from both sides.
Yes.
Right. I can absolutely see that. But at the same time, you mentioned Mike Mayock loving him. Well, I'll take it a step further. John Gruden loves him just as much, in my opinion, because John Gruden had his quarterback camps that he used to have. when he was, not coaching, of course, still broadcasting and stuff. He used to do the quarterback camps, and he always said the best person he ever had in that quarterback camp was Marcus Mariota, in his opinion. And like you said, as soon as they had that option, Mayock and Gruden both loved him, and they immediately snagged him once they were able to get a hold of him. So it's kind of tough, honestly. And like you said, they taken the pay cut. So I don't know. I think it depends on what Indy would offer as well. They got to see what they would get back in return. I mean, let's say that Indy offers up, one of their offensive linemen, Quentin Nelson. There's no way that Quentin goes. But let's say they offer up maybe Ryan.
There's no way they trade a player. There's zero way they trade a player. Zero.
Okay.
And the
maybe,
reason, the reason being is this close to getting ready to start in the season, it's too hard for them to pick up a completely new playbook. That's why you don't see a ton of trades in the NFL either. So that's why, again, you see a lot of like bigger names. Like we're like, oh my God, so-and-so got cut. Happens every year. A lot of times, sometimes they go in there and impact right away. It depends on the scheme and the system, though. But a lot of them, you don't hear nothing from them for a while because they're learning a brand new system. So that's just kind of my take on it all.
Absolutely. So speaking on learning a new system, the Los Angeles Lakers acquired Russell Westbrook in a big-time trade. We all knew that there was a point guard coming in. We didn't know who it was, though. There was talks of Dame. There was even talks of Steph. But Russell Westbrook ends up making his entrance. So, this is a big one. So Russell Westbrook on his way in, and they give up KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. They give up Montrezl Harrell, who we talked about earlier, and guess who? They give up Kyle Kuzma, a guy who wanted to leave LA. He had said that multiple times, so he was kind of in the trade talks to exit LA. She's headed to Washington now. So they give up all that, and they get Russell Westbrook. Tori, I want your reaction to the trade.
I think it's great because I think the Lakers got worse.
So they got worse? Why do you think they got worse?
I don't like the fit. I do not think Russell Westbrook fits in that offense. He is not. I don't think he fits well with LeBron and with AD. And Wayne G brought up a good point because we talked about this last week, shortly after the trade happened. Now you have three guys that like to go to the rim. You have Westbrook, LeBron, and AD that all like to go and they like to play around the rim. There's not enough basketballs to go around at that point. Russell's role in this offense isn't going to be to score. It's going to be to facilitate, and it's going to be play defense and get rebounds. That's going to be his role. I don't see this being a great fit. I liken it to Chris Paul getting traded to Houston to play alongside Harden. You can't have two ball-dominant people, and it just doesn't work. And I don't think it's going to work in LA because Russell likes to kind of be ball-dominant still, and so does LeBron. I don't see the fit. It's great because you have another big name in town. Okay. I just don't think that it's a fit in that offense.
So you're saying that it's good for ticket sales. It's not good for basketball, though, or for the Lakers.
100%. I think I said this to Wayne G as well. I bet by midseason they're shopping Russell Westbrook to get him out of town to find another point guard. Because they still have Schroeder on the books technically.
But he won't be there. They're going to get rid of Schroeder.
No, they're gonna shop him and ship him out. So,
well, here's the thing though. If they I don't think their weakness is being around the rim. I think that just generates more rebounds, and I do think that there is an issue with scoring wise. Now, the issue that I have though with scoring is 3-point shooting. There's no 3-point shooting on this team. There is not a 3-point specialist anywhere to be found. Russell Westbrook has always struggled from the 3-point line. LeBron has never been he's been a good 3-point shooter, but he's never been an incredible one. It's not been the top point of his game. And Anthony Davis is a power forward center, so he's not going to be out on the wing the whole time. So I think 3-point shooting is really the biggest issue I have. So speaking of Dennis Schroeder, I think there's a chance that they trade Schroeder to somebody for a 3-point scorer and bring in some veteran 3-point scoring help, like Andre Iguodala, who has shown a lot of interest in coming into the Lakers. It was said today that he had a meeting with them and the Warriors, as well as Carmelo Anthony last year with Portland finished his best 3-point percentage shooting year that he's ever had in his entire career. 3-point percentage wise, he was the most efficient he's ever been. So I think if they bring those two vets in and they send out Schroeder for somebody else who they can bring in for 3-point shooting, I think there's a chance this works. But I think that my biggest issue has to do with scoring like yours, but mine is going to be 3-point shooting. That's the big one for me because it's a 3-point shooting league now. If you don't have a 3-point shooter, you're not really going to be able to figure it out. I mean, even the Bucks had, Chris Middleton had to step up and hit those big threes. He had to be the shooter. Drew Holiday had to. Even Giannis had to step up at times and hit threes. It's a 3-point shooting league. You're not going to make it unless you can do that. So that's really the biggest issue that I had with this trade. I'm excited to see it because I personally think that it can work. I think there are ways to figure it out, because yes, they're all going to want the ball. And I've seen all the jokes, and the jokes are hilarious. I saw one the other day. Two guys made a joke where they were playing pickup basketball, and it was, LeBron and Russell Westbrook fighting over the final assist for a triple-double. And these guys go for shots and pass it, and then they go for a shot and pass it, go for a shot and pass it. They just kept on doing that. So I thought that was funny. They were passing it back and forth. But no, I think that Russell Westbrook is such a great playmaker passing the ball. Then you add in LeBron's playmaking, arguably, not arguably, I would say in my opinion, he's the best passing forward the NBA's ever seen. So I think that their playmaking can work well together. The biggest question other than 3-point shooting for me is the commitment of Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is going to have to step up. He's very brittle. He has had issues with, kind of hot and cold nights and big moments. Hasn't been able to really step up. We saw that with, the playoffs. They lost to the Suns single-handedly because Anthony Davis was brittle and they couldn't depend on him. So that's the biggest thing for me, other than the 3-point shooting, is we're going to have to see a big step up in Anthony Davis's game, scoring the ball wise, taking control, as well as leading the pack. He's going to have to do those things, and they're going to have to bring in some kind of a 3-point shooter to make this team work. That's the only way, because, like I said, it's a 3-point shooting league, and they don't have the 3-point shooting at this moment that they're going to need to be successful. They're going to, I take that back. They're going to be successful, but they're not going to be a championship team unless if they have some kind of a 3-point game. It's just, it doesn't work like that. So what do you think?
It's like I said, I think this team got worse by making this trade. I don't see any way that this fits. I just don't. I'm gonna call it right now. 3 guys, 1 ball. instead of the other infamous video.
Okay.
That is my new name for the Lakers now. 3 guys, 1 ball. Way off the scale on that one.
But the next topic we're going to talk about here, and it is the Cleveland Browns and Nick Chubb, running back for the Cleveland Browns, have reached a agreement on a 3-year extension worth $36 million. And your reaction to that, Tori?
Probably the smartest thing that they've ever done, except for now they need to lock up Baker too.
Right.
So I like the deal. Running back lifespans are short these days in the NFL. He obviously has Kareem Hunt with him, so it's going to add years onto his career as well. So I like the deal. 3 years, $36 million, not a terrible deal at all. Because I'm trying to think, what was Aaron Jones? Was Aaron Jones 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, Aaron was 4
years, 48.
Yeah.
So 3 years, 36. Both same ballpark. You're looking at about on average, You're looking $12 million a year if you just split it up. So they just basically took a year off of it that the Packers added on. So yeah, I like the deal. He's a top 5 running back in this league, and him and Kareem Hunt, there's no better duo in this league. I would venture to say that Kareem Hunt's probably a top 10 back as well in this league.
Yeah, I think when he's by himself, he is. I think when he's splitting touches, I don't have him as a top 10 because he's not sustaining the touches he would need to get to be a top 10. But if he's by himself, he's absolutely a top 10 running back in this league. We've seen that.
Right.
You say Nick Chubb's top 5 running back in the league, you think?
Yes.
Who's your top 5?
Oh, probably CMC, Kamara, Saquon, Aaron Jones, and probably Chubb.
What about Derrick Henry?
Nope.
What? Why not? Derrick Henry's not top 5 for you?
He'd be my 7. Dalvin Cook would be 6. Henry would be 7.
Oh. Why? What?
Because Derrick Henry can't catch the ball out of the backfield.
He doesn't need to. He just runs people over. He picks up grown men that are professional athletes and throws them for a living. That's what he does.
And that leads to body deterioration, and that leads to injuries.
Well, yeah, but this year, he's not body deteriorated. He's a top. Come on, Tori. You know more about football than this. He is a top 5 running back.
I just know. I don't think he is. Top 10, yes, 100%.
Oh, come.
Well, absolutely,
Tori. Come on.
Again, you fall in love with the name. That
no, I don't. I fall in love with the fact that he's incredible. I mean, look at the way he plays football. Like I said, he literally picks up grown men that are professional athletes for a living and throws them.
He's had 2 good years. If he has another great year again this year, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna say, okay, he's a top 5 back.
How is he not? He's so good. He's had more rushing yards in the last 2 years than any other running back.
Again, do it for a 3rd year in a row. I'm gonna give it to you.
Oh Lord! Oh my God! No! Come on, Tori. Okay, number 1 running back in the league right now, in my opinion, is all around running back. We're talking about all around. Yes, CMC. But all around after that. Okay, I'll just say this in no particular order because I don't want to put this in order right now. So we've got CMC's up there, Dalvin Cook's up there. I think. Let's see here: CMC, Dalvin Cook. Give me Derrick Henry. Give me Alvin Kamara. And then 5th, give me Saquon. Give me Saquon. Not in any particular order. That's just my top 5.
So Wayne says, Tori, come on.
Right.
Plays
there
6.
you go.
However,
Barkley's had 1 good year and he's injury prone.
He
needs 3 good years.
I will give you, he is injury prone. However, he can also catch the ball out of the backfield.
But he hasn't had 3 good years. You said that he needs 3 good years. You just said that if Derrick Henry has a 3rd good year, then you'll put him in there.
Oh, we got everybody here tonight. We got Wayne G. We got Drew. We got Luke G checking in. Everybody
Luke
here
G?
tonight.
Luke G, I drafted your boy in fantasy this year, DeAndre Swift. He's got to do me good, man. He has got to do me good. I'm depending on him. I never thought I'd hear you say that, Tori.
Nope.
That was a $1.50 that you don't have. You don't have Derrick Henry up. All right. Well, you know what? I respect the honesty. I'll give you that. I love the honesty, but Derrick Henry not a top 10. I didn't think I'd hear that from you tonight, Tori. I really didn't. But Chubb, you got Chubb. So you have Chubb as better. Yep. What? No. You think okay? Why is Chubb better than Derrick Henry?
Because he is splitting carries, and he doesn't have to shoulder the burden like Derrick Henry has to. So, with that, again, he does not have as great a chance of getting injured, and he puts up better numbers because he's fresher, longer.
Come on, Tori. No. Okay, so you said you have him at 7, though. He's not even 6. He's not even like honorable mention for top 5.
Dalvin Cook's number 6.
No, I cannot. But at least you have CMC at 1. I mean, if we're talking all around running backs, CMC has to be 1. If we're talking all around running backs, if I had to give my top 5, and this is
what other way do you grade running backs besides all around?
Well, I mean, if you're just talking about like just running the ball, not talking about catching the ball. If you're just talking about running the ball, then Derrick Henry's the best running back in the league.
I would get 100% would give you that, but all around he is not.
Sure,
and that's
sure.
I'm looking at the full body of work. I'm looking at the whole thing, and that's why he is outside of my top 5.
Oh God! All right. I'll accept it. Once again, I respect the honesty. But you know what? When we come back, we are going to have shop talk, and you can ask Tori all that you want on how that he has Derrick Henry out of the top 10. You heard it here first on Man Hour. We will be right back after this 2-minute break.
What is your name?
What?
What is your name?
Fuck!
Where did you get that shirt?
It's funny that you should ask that. Head over to manhourradio.com. You can pick up the shirt up. $15.
And welcome back to Man Hour as we are entering Shop Talk now. And I will get on my A game and I will put up the Shop Talk graphic. Boom. There it is. Boom. You see it there. Shop Talk. Shop Talk, baby. So with that being said, this is Shop Talk. We will give you, or we will answer all of your questions that you have. And Luke G starts us off here. Top 10 running backs hit in 2021. Luke G. I would agree, but that's only 5. So I think I agree with Tori, with Henry. Excuse me, I think I agree with Tori. Henry getting all the hype, but there are other backs better. I don't know. Wayne G, what do you think about it?
Wayne G makes a good point. Like, this is actually a solid point. However, Barry could still catch the ball out of the backfield.
I just don't. And I know I've said this 1,000 times. I just don't know how you don't have Derrick Henry as a top 5 running back.
Barry's a generational running back. He is like a Walter Payton. Like,
right, I guaranteed. I have Walter Payton over Marshall Faulk and LT.
Agreed.
I might have Sweetness over Barry. I don't know.
No.
Maybe.
To me, I don't know. If Barry would have actually finished out his career, I still think Barry would have hands down had the record. Emmett would have never sniffed him.
Really?
I don't think so.
When Emmett only got it when he was in Arizona, right? So he got
it when he was in Dallas.
He did?
Yeah.
What record? He broke the all-time in Arizona, though, didn't he?
Well,
I'm pretty
technically,
sure he
every
did.
time he touched the ball after he broke the record,
Well,
he was breaking his own record.
I'm looking it up right now. When did he break the all-time? So he broke it in 2002. See the career stats is what we're looking up here. Where was he in 2002? 2002, he was with Arizona, wasn't he, in 2002? No, it was his final season in Dallas. Okay.
So Wayne
Dang,
G
I
says
thought he was-
Barry didn't catch as many balls as LT or Falk, so you are giving him credit for the very same thing that you were knocking Derrick Henry for. However, different time, different era. The only
Luke G
people
says-
that facts
No,
had
you're good,
Barry
you're good.
Barry could have had record or record his last season, or had the record his last season, but didn't want it. Barry almost had the record after playing 10 seasons. Took Smith 13 to get the record. Barry caught many passes, he says. So, and I think so, because he was only like, I thought he was only like 800 yards behind Walter Payton going into that season, like in order to break the record. So, but the other thing is there wasn't as many pass catching backs, Wayne, in the league at that time. It wasn't really a thing in that time. You had like Thurman Thomas. Thurman Thomas was one of the big ones when he came to. Marshall Faulk was a big one. There wasn't like it is now, like where every team has a pass catching back. And that's where I say, like, it's really hard to compare that because of the different eras. And I agree. You have 100% legitimate complaint on that. However, I'm going with that. It was a different era, and it wasn't as prevalent as it was today. You know.
Yeah. No,
Barry.
Do what?
No,
You're cutting
Luke
out,
G had
buddy.
said. Oh, Luke G had said that about Barry. He said, "Yep," and he refused to get the record he didn't care about.
What is the deal with Detroit superstar football players playing 8 to 10 seasons and just hanging it up? Like Calvin did it and Barry did it. Like, what is why does it only happen there?
What does it say about your franchise?
Right. I can't take this anymore.
So Wayne just says, doesn't that make Marshall Faulk more impressive that he played in a run first era and caught so many passes? Yes, I will agree with that. And I think that Marshall Faulk is probably in consideration for the top 5 all time. I don't know if I would put him in there. Oh God, I don't even know who I would say my top 5 all time were. You got to go one for me. It'd be one Barry, and this is really close between 2 and 3. 2, and you could flip these any way you want. I would probably put Jim Brown. 3. You got to go Sweetness. And then I'm not putting Emmett in there just because I hate Emmitt Smith. Actually,
Emmett's my 5. I think
I would say Emmett's maybe my 4.
I think Adrian Peterson's my 4.
Yeah, AP would probably have to be my 5 again. Another guy I don't like, but
right.
See, and there again, if Bo were allowed to play his whole career, if it wasn't for that hip injury, Bo Jackson we'd all be talking about Bo Jackson being the greatest running back of all time. I 110% believe that. Bo Jackson actually came out and said, if I had to play, when I was younger in today's NFL, if I was younger, I'd probably average 300 yards a game, and I believe him.
And then Luke G also chimes in and says, Barry left because they traded his friends away and got rid of the coach he likes. CJ left because he was hurt, but he knew he didn't want to go through a rebuild. Stafford wife hated Michigan.
See, this is where it's good to have somebody that's so close to the Detroit team.
Right, exactly. No, it's true. Go ahead.
Well, so Barry was frustrated with them, and the rumor was, and Luke G, you can confirm or deny this one, that the big rumor was that he actually wanted to go to Green Bay to play with Favre and try to win a title.
Do you think he would have?
There is no way you trade within your own division, especially to a division rival. Never going to happen.
Do you think he would have left and then went there? Like, let's say contract runs up, okay? He just finishes a 3 or 4 year deal or whatever, and he's a free agent, unrestricted. Do you think he would have went to Green Bay?
No, and because Barry, the one thing that Barry's very loyal, and I do not think he would have left Detroit because they were loyal to him. He shows loyalty back. That's the reason I don't think he would have ended up in Green Bay, because he's a very humble, very loyal guy. One of the night I've never met the guy. He lives in Wichita, Kansas, and that's where I'll be in a couple of weeks. But from what I've heard from everybody there, everybody loves him. Like he is the nicest guy in the face of the earth.
And then Wayne G says, I think that he may have thought it would have been a cool idea, but I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that Barry Sanders requested a trade or indicated he would like a trade. And then
I
Luke,
agree. I think a lot of that was speculation.
Then Luke G says, if CJ wanted to leave, he should have taken the pay cut, but he wanted the money and he wanted to be traded. That cap hit would have killed Detroit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were also going through,
like
you said you were going through the rebuild too. So,
yeah.
And I don't think he was going to stick around.
No. That's the thing. I mean, especially this day and age, like, yeah, trade me. Great. Except what's my dead cap number? That's going to determine whether or not I try to trade you. Oh, excuse me. And,
right.
That's like Xavier Howard. Xavier Howard just signed that big deal with the Dolphins, but he's 3 years into that extension now. So I don't know what his dead cap hit would be. It probably actually isn't that bad. But rumor has it now, too, even with him, they're looking at he's open to renegotiating his contract with them and rescinding his trade request.
If Calvin Johnson would have went somewhere else and continued his NFL career, do you think he'd have won a Super Bowl?
Depends where he wanted to go.
We don't care what you've got to say, Tori. That is how we're going to end the show. I'm not going to. I was saying I wasn't going to do it to you, and I was bringing you back on, and you mute me. No, I'm just kidding. No, that is how we're going to end the show tonight. Tori, go ahead and send us out, buddy.
Man, our nation. Have a great Sunday and rise up.